Right now, a massive storm system is barreling across the United States, and if you live anywhere from Texas to the Great Lakes, you need to hear this. We are looking at a potential tornado outbreak, damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, baseball-sized hail, and flooding rain, all happening over the next 4 days. And here is the part that makes this even more alarming. Some areas that have been bone dry for months are about to get slammed with 4 to 6 inches of rain in just 48 hours. That is not a typo. 4 to 6 inches. But that is not all. While the southern half of the country deals with severe thunderstorms, the upper Midwest is bracing for an ice storm. Yes, you heard that right. We are going from ice storm warnings to possible hailstorms in the same day in parts of Wisconsin. I have never seen a setup quite like this one. Now, if you are watching this and you are thinking, does this affect my area? Stay with me. I am going to break down the forecast for over 270 cities across the United States, every single region, every single timeline. I am going to tell you exactly when this storm hits your area, when it peaks, and when it finally moves out. And I promise you, by the 5-minute mark of this video, I will deliver the full severe weather breakdown with specific timing down to the hour. So do not go anywhere. But first, let me tell you why this particular system is so dangerous. We have a low-pressure system sitting near the surface that is creating a very unique atmospheric setup. There is a cold frontal boundary crashing in from the west. Just ahead of that cold front, a dry line is developing, and what that means is we are going to get 2 separate rounds of thunderstorms. The first round will fire along that dry line, producing supercell thunderstorms with damaging winds and large hail. But the second round, that is where things get really intense. That second round is going to develop right along the cold front itself, and that is where our highest tornado risk lives. The Storm Prediction Center has already issued a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for severe weather. That covers cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, Davenport, and Iowa, and stretches down through the Mississippi River Valley. Inside that enhanced risk zone, we are looking at numerous to widespread damaging winds this afternoon and evening. Wind gusts could reach 60 to 80 miles per hour. That is strong enough to snap tree limbs, flip trampolines, and tear shingles right off your roof. And here is where it gets even more concerning. There is an elevated tornado risk today. The environment is extremely favorable for tornadoes. We have massive amounts of wind shear, storm relative helicity is through the roof, and if temperatures can warm up into the upper 60s and 70s this afternoon, it is going to be, as storm chasers say, go time. We could see not just a few tornadoes, but a potential tornado outbreak across the Midwest. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I am not here to scare you. I am here to prepare you. There is a massive difference between those two things. Knowledge is power, and the more you know about what is coming, the better you can protect yourself and your family. Let me give you the exact timing, because timing is everything when it comes to severe weather. Today, Thursday, April 2nd. By noon, convection is already firing across northern Missouri and western Illinois. Any cell that goes up in this environment is going to try to rotate. By 1 to 2 in the afternoon Central Time, the tornado risk starts climbing in southeastern Iowa and northeastern Missouri. By 3 to 4 in the afternoon, that is when supercells begin to mature. We could have long track rotating storms near Davenport, Iowa. Any of these storms has the potential to produce a strong tornado. By 5 to 6 in the evening, those storms push into western Illinois right along the Mississippi River Valley. There is a realistic chance that one of these supercells becomes a long-track tornadic supercell. That means a tornado that stays on the ground for miles. By 7 in the evening, the peak tornado window opens. Between 4 and 9 in the evening is our highest danger period, especially across western and northern Illinois and extreme southern Wisconsin. By 8 to 9 at night, storms are rolling into the Chicago metro area and Milwaukee. If you live in either of those cities, you need to have your safe room identified and your weather alerts turned on before dinner tonight. By 10 to 11 at night, the storms begin weakening as they push into Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. But do not let your guard down, because an isolated tornado threat continues through about midnight. Now, here is the twist that most people are not expecting. Tomorrow, Friday, is actually looking like it could be even more significant than today. Let me explain why. Tomorrow, the low-pressure system shifts eastward and a new batch of severe weather erupts across the Great Plains. We are talking about a threat zone stretching from Amarillo, Texas, all the way up to Des Moines, Iowa, and Davenport. The Storm Prediction Center is already highlighting this as a major severe weather day. Tomorrow's biggest threats include scattered to numerous damaging winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour from Topeka through Kansas City and Des Moines. There is a risk of very large hail. We could see baseball-sized hail from some of these supercells. That is hail large enough to shatter car windshields and dent metal roofing. If you have a garage, park your car inside it tomorrow. If you do not have a garage, find covered parking. Trust me on this one. The tornado threat tomorrow is concentrated across central and southern Iowa, northern Missouri, Kansas City, and western Illinois. The warm frontal boundary is going to set up right through that corridor, and that is Tornado Alley for Friday. Any storm that remains discrete, meaning it stays isolated and does not merge into a line, has the potential to produce a significant tornado. By late afternoon and evening Friday, these storms will begin to organize into a squall line. When that happens, the damaging wind threat becomes widespread. Embedded tornadoes within that line are also possible. The squall line will push eastward towards St. Louis and Little Rock by 10 to 11 Friday night, and we are still not done. Saturday brings another round. Overnight Friday into Saturday morning, severe weather redevelops. The main corridor runs from Dallas-Fort Worth through Louisiana, Mississippi, just south of Nashville, and into Alabama. The primary threat Saturday will be damaging winds, but isolated tornadoes are possible, especially if any discrete supercells manage to form out ahead of the main line. By Saturday afternoon, the severe weather shifts into the Tennessee Valley and eventually toward the southeast. Sunday, the Great Plains finally get a break and conditions improve dramatically, but there could be a low-end severe weather risk along the East Coast on Sunday. Now, before I continue with the regional breakdown, let me ask you something. Do you know where your nearest safe room or storm shelter is right now? If a tornado warning was issued for your neighborhood in the next 30 seconds, would you know exactly where to go? That is the kind of preparation that saves lives. An interior room on the lowest floor away from windows, a bathroom, a closet, under a stairwell. Know your plan before you need it. All right, now let me give you something I promised. The full breakdown for over 270 cities. I am going region by region, state by state. Drop a comment below with the city you are watching from, and I will make sure to cover your area in upcoming videos. Let us start with the epicenter of today's severe weather, the Midwest and Great Lakes. This is ground zero today, Chicago, Illinois. Right now it is 43 degrees with fog. Severe thunderstorms are expected to arrive between 8 and 9 tonight. Damaging winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour are the primary threat, with an isolated tornado risk. The storm window for Chicago runs from roughly 8 tonight through midnight. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, currently 34 degrees with fog. Storms arrive slightly earlier here between 7 and 9 tonight. But here is the crazy part. Milwaukee is under an ice storm warning right now. You are going from ice accumulation to potential hailstorms in the same day. That is how dynamic this weather pattern is. Davenport, Iowa, this city is in the bullseye today, right in the heart of the enhanced risk zone. Supercells could develop as early as 3 in the afternoon, with the tornado threat peaking between 4 and 8 in the evening. This is one of the cities I am most concerned about today. Des Moines, Iowa, 44 degrees and foggy right now. Today's severe weather threat is moderate here, but tomorrow, Friday, Des Moines moves right into the highest risk zone. Large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all on the table for Friday afternoon and evening. Peoria, Illinois. Already seeing thunder showers this morning at 50 degrees. The severe threat increases this afternoon with damaging winds and an isolated tornado risk. Peak timing is 3 to 7 in the evening. Springfield, Illinois, 63 degrees with overcast skies. Severe storms arrive mid to late afternoon. Damaging winds are the primary concern, but a tornado is possible with any rotating storm in this environment. Indianapolis, Indiana, 50 degrees and foggy. The severe weather threat here is lower than cities further west, but scattered storms with damaging winds and an isolated tornado risk continue through this evening, especially between 6 and 10 tonight. St. Louis, Missouri, 69 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Right on the southern edge of today, see enhanced risk area. Damaging winds and large hail are possible this afternoon. An isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. The severe window runs from about 1 in the afternoon through 8 tonight. Kansas City, Missouri. 64 degrees and mostly cloudy. Today, S threat is moderate, but tomorrow is the big day for Kansas City. Friday afternoon and evening bring the risk of large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. This is a city that needs to be on high alert for Friday. Omaha, Nebraska. 45 degrees with rain and cloudy skies. The low pressure system is going to pass right near Omaha tomorrow. That puts this city in a very precarious position for Friday's severe weather. The tornado threat will be centered just east of here, Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota, currently 32 to 33 degrees and overcast. Snow is the concern here, not severe weather, but the winter weather is significant. Freezing rain and ice accumulation are expected through tonight and into Friday. Travel will be dangerous across the Twin Cities metro, Green Bay, Wisconsin. 32 degrees with light snow and ice fog. Under an ice storm warning, up to half an inch of freezing rain is possible. Power outages are a real concern. And on top of that, there is a marginal risk of severe weather later today as the atmosphere transitions from winter to severe mode. Absolutely wild. Madison, Wisconsin. 34 degrees with light rain and low clouds. Between the ice threat and the severe weather threat, Madison is in a tough spot today. Expect conditions to deteriorate this afternoon. Detroit, Michigan. 36 degrees with light rain and fog. The severe weather threat here is lower, but scattered storms with damaging winds are possible this evening. The main window is 7 to 11 tonight. Cleveland, Ohio. 47 degrees and cloudy. Storms weaken as they move into Ohio tonight, but scattered damaging winds are still possible between 9 tonight and 1 in the morning. Grand Rapids, Michigan, already dealing with heavy rain at 34 degrees with fog. Storms continue through this evening with a decreasing severe threat. Now let me shift south because tomorrow and Saturday, the southern tier of the country takes the hit. Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Currently 64 to 67 degrees and sunny. Enjoy the calm today because Saturday morning is when severe weather arrives. By 8 in the morning Saturday, a line of thunderstorms with damaging winds will be pushing through the Metroplex. An isolated tornado is possible. Make sure you have your weather alerts set before you go to bed Friday night. Houston, Texas. 75 degrees with broken clouds. Houston has a dual threat this weekend. Severe weather, including damaging winds, is possible Saturday. But perhaps even more concerning is the flooding threat. Houston and the surrounding area have been extremely dry, and when rain does come this weekend, it is going to come heavy. Flash flooding is a real risk for the greater Houston metro, especially South Texas and East Texas. Some areas could pick up 3 to 5 inches of rain. San Antonio, Texas. 70 degrees with light rain and fog already. The rain is already starting to move in. Expect scattered thunderstorms today and tomorrow with the more organized severe threat arriving Saturday. Flooding is a concern here too. Austin, Texas, 65 degrees and foggy. Similar setup to San Antonio. Scattered rain today with the severe threat increasing Friday night into Saturday. Waco, Texas. 68 degrees with light rain already falling. The flooding threat is going to be significant here over the next 72 hours. Corpus Christi, Texas, 74 degrees with broken clouds. The severe weather threat is lower here, but heavy rain this weekend could lead to localized flooding. Tyler and Longview in East Texas, both at 67 degrees and already seeing thunderstorms this morning. This area is going to see repeated rounds of rain and storms over the next 3 days. Flooding is a major concern. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 65 degrees with scattered clouds. Today's threat is moderate, but tomorrow, Friday, is the bigger day. Large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes are possible Friday afternoon. The tornado threat increases north of the city towards Stillwater and Tulsa, Oklahoma. 66 degrees with scattered clouds. Similar story. Friday is the big day. Make sure you know your safe room plan before Friday afternoon. Little Rock, Arkansas. 69 degrees with broken clouds. The southern edge of today's severe weather risk clips Little Rock. But Friday night into Saturday, a more organized line of storms pushes through with damaging winds. Shreveport, Louisiana, 72 degrees and cloudy. Severe storms are possible Saturday as the squall line pushes through. Damaging winds are the primary threat. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 73 degrees and cloudy. Saturday afternoon into evening brings the severe threat. Heavy rain and flooding are additional concerns. New Orleans, Louisiana, 72 degrees and sunny right now. Beautiful day today, but Saturday and Sunday bring increasing rain chances and the potential for a few strong storms. Memphis, Tennessee. 71 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. The marginal risk of severe weather extends down to Memphis today. Friday night into Saturday brings a more significant threat with damaging winds as the squall line moves through. Nashville, Tennessee. 67 degrees and partly sunny. Saturday is the concern day for Nashville. The line of storms with damaging winds will be approaching from the west. An isolated tornado is possible if any discrete storms form ahead of the line. Birmingham, Alabama. 67 degrees with passing clouds. Saturday afternoon into evening is the severe weather window. Damaging winds are the primary threat. Jackson, Mississippi. 68 degrees and partly sunny. Saturday afternoon into evening for the severe weather push. Heavy rain and flooding are additional concerns for central Mississippi. Now let me take you to the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic because this pattern affects you too. New York City. 43 degrees and overcast right now. The severe weather threat is low for the city, but Sunday could bring some scattered strong storms along the East Coast. Rain is moving through today. Philadelphia. 47 degrees with low clouds. Similar to New York, a low-end severe weather risk exists for Sunday, Washington, D.C. 58 degrees with drizzle and fog. The nation's capital sees rain today and again this weekend. A marginal severe threat exists for Sunday, Boston. 38 degrees with light rain and fog. No severe weather threat for Boston, but the rain continues through today. Temperatures are chilly. Baltimore. 51 degrees and foggy. Rain today, then dry conditions for a couple of days before more rain returns this weekend. Pittsburgh, 56 degrees with fog. The tail end of today's severe weather could clip western Pennsylvania this evening. Damaging winds are possible between 8 tonight and midnight. Hartford, Connecticut, 41 degrees with light rain and fog. No severe weather today, but monitoring Sunday. Albany, New York, 35 degrees with light rain and fog. Cold and wet today. No severe weather concerns. Richmond, Virginia, 66 degrees with broken clouds. Dry today, but a marginal severe risk exists for Sunday. Now let me cover the Southeast because several of you have been asking about this region. Atlanta, Georgia, 63 degrees and sunny. Beautiful day today. No severe weather in the immediate forecast for Atlanta, but Saturday evening into Sunday, some storms could move through. Keep an eye on the forecast this weekend. Charlotte, North Carolina, 67 degrees with passing clouds. Similar to Atlanta, quiet today, but monitoring the weekend. Raleigh, North Carolina, 70 degrees with broken clouds. A gorgeous day today. The weekend brings some rain chances, but the severe threat is low. Jacksonville, Florida, 69 degrees and partly sunny. No severe weather concerns. Some scattered showers possible this weekend. Miami, 76 degrees with broken clouds. No severe weather. Tropical moisture keeps scattered showers in the forecast. Tampa, 74 degrees and sunny. Beautiful weather continues. Some scattered rain possible this weekend. Orlando, 71 degrees and sunny. Enjoy it. Rain chances increase slightly this weekend. Savannah, Georgia, 70 degrees and sunny. Quiet weather expected to continue through the weekend. Charleston, South Carolina, 69 degrees with scattered clouds. No severe weather concerns for the Charleston area. Now let me hit the western United States, because while the severe weather focuses on the central and eastern parts of the country, the west has its own concerns. Los Angeles, 61 degrees and overcast. Cool and cloudy, but no significant weather issues. San Francisco, 49 degrees with passing clouds. A cool start to the day. No weather concerns. San Diego, 62 degrees and partly cloudy. Pleasant conditions continue. Phoenix, 66 degrees with passing clouds. Warm and dry. Classic April weather for the desert. Las Vegas, 59 degrees with passing clouds. Comfortable temperatures. No weather issues. Seattle, 43 degrees and overcast. Light rain has been moving through. Typical spring weather for the Pacific Northwest. Portland, Oregon, 43 degrees and mostly cloudy. Similar to Seattle. Cool and damp. Denver, 35 degrees with passing clouds. Denver is on the western edge of this storm system. Some storms could develop east of the city tomorrow, but the main severe threat stays to the east. Salt Lake City, 52 degrees and partly cloudy. Quiet weather for Utah, Boise, Idaho. 39 degrees and clear. No significant weather concerns. Albuquerque, New Mexico, 42 degrees and sunny. Cool and dry, no weather issues. Sacramento, California, 43 degrees and clear. A chilly start but pleasant afternoon ahead. Now, if you are in any of these cities and you are thinking, I will just check the weather tomorrow morning, let me tell you something. Tomorrow morning could be too late. These storms move fast. Some of these supercells will be traveling at 40 to 50 miles per hour. That means a storm that is 100 miles away right now could be on your doorstep in 2 hours. 2 hours. That is barely enough time to get home from work, pick up the kids, and find your safe room. Let me also address something I have been getting a lot of questions about: power outages. With wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour, power outages are virtually guaranteed across the Midwest tonight. Trees are going to come down. Power lines are going to snap. If you have not already, charge your devices now. Fill your bathtub with water in case you lose water pressure. Make sure you have flashlights with fresh batteries. And if you have a generator, test it now, not when the lights go out. For those of you in Wisconsin and Minnesota dealing with the ice storm, power outages could last even longer. Ice accumulation on power lines is one of the most dangerous situations for the electrical grid. Half an inch of ice on power lines can bring them down, and utility crews cannot begin repairs until the ice stops accumulating. That means you could be without power for 24 to 48 hours in the worst hit areas. Let me give you more city-by-city details across the country because I know how important this is. The Ohio Valley. Columbus, Ohio, 52 degrees and partly sunny. The severe threat is lower here, but scattered storms with gusty winds are possible tonight. Cincinnati, 59 degrees with fog. A slightly higher threat here as you are closer to the main storm track. Louisville, Kentucky, 68 degrees with clouds. Louisville is right on the edge of the enhanced risk area. Damaging winds are possible this evening. Lexington, Kentucky, 70 degrees and sunny. Enjoy the sunshine while it lasts. Storms arrive late tonight. Evansville, Indiana, 69 degrees and overcast. Evansville could see some of the stronger storms tonight as they push through the Ohio Valley. Bowling Green, Kentucky, 70 degrees and sunny. The severe threat increases here Friday night into Saturday. Huntington, West Virginia, 65 degrees and sunny. A marginal severe risk exists for tonight. Let me cover more of the Mid-Atlantic in detail. Annapolis, Maryland, 52 degrees and foggy. Dover, Delaware, 49 degrees and foggy. Atlantic City, New Jersey, 46 degrees with fog. Wilmington, North Carolina, 70 degrees and mild. Virginia Beach, 69 degrees with scattered clouds. Norfolk, 69 degrees. Hampton, 70 degrees with passing clouds. Newport News, 68 degrees and sunny. Fredericksburg, Virginia, 67 degrees and sunny. Charlottesville, 64 degrees and sunny. Roanoke, 59 degrees with passing clouds. All of these mid-Atlantic cities are in for a quiet day today, but keep your eyes on Sunday for a potential severe weather risk. Now let me cover New England more thoroughly because the cold rain and even some snow is making for a miserable day up there. Portland, Maine, 35 degrees and overcast. Bangor, Maine, 32 degrees and partly sunny. Burlington, Vermont, 34 degrees and overcast. Montpelier, 33 degrees and overcast. Concord, New Hampshire, 34 degrees with light rain. Manchester, New Hampshire, 35 degrees with light rain. Worcester, Massachusetts, 34 degrees with light rain. Springfield, Massachusetts, 38 degrees. Brattleboro, Vermont, 36 degrees with light rain. Bridgeport, Connecticut, 43 degrees with light rain. New Haven, 41 degrees with rain. Providence, 38 degrees with light rain. These are just miserable conditions across New England today. Cold, raw, and rainy. Not severe, but definitely not pleasant. Spring has been slow to arrive in the Northeast this year. Let me swing through the Carolinas and Georgia in more detail. Asheville, North Carolina, 59 degrees and sunny. Greenville, South Carolina, 65 degrees with scattered clouds. Spartanburg, 68 degrees and partly sunny. Columbia, South Carolina, 64 degrees and mostly cloudy. Myrtle Beach, 68 degrees and sunny. Wilmington, 70 degrees. Fayetteville, 66 degrees and partly sunny. Augusta, Georgia, 62 degrees and partly sunny. Macon, 63 degrees and sunny. Columbus, Georgia, 64 degrees and sunny. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 70 degrees with scattered clouds. Knoxville, 67 degrees with passing clouds. These areas are enjoying a beautiful spring day today, but they need to keep an eye on Saturday's forecast as the squall line pushes eastward. And let me add more detail for Florida because I know so many of you are watching from the Sunshine State. Daytona Beach, 72 degrees and sunny. Cocoa Beach, 76 degrees with passing clouds. Palm Beach, 74 degrees with broken clouds. Boca Raton, 75 degrees with scattered clouds. Clearwater, 72 degrees and sunny. St. Petersburg, 73 degrees and sunny. Sarasota, 71 degrees and sunny. Fort Lauderdale, 76 degrees and partly sunny. Gainesville, 66 degrees and sunny. Tallahassee, 66 degrees and sunny. Pensacola, 70 degrees and sunny. Panama City, 70 degrees and sunny. Cape Coral, 71 degrees and sunny. Naples, 72 degrees and sunny. Port St. Lucie, 73 degrees and partly sunny. Lakeland, 70 degrees and sunny. Kissimmee, 71 degrees and sunny. Florida, you are in great shape today. Enjoy this weather, but I do want to flag something for South Florida and Central Florida. The 30-day outlook shows above-average rain heading your way over the next month. That is actually good news because many parts of Florida have been dealing with below-average rainfall and increasing wildfire risk. The rain that is coming will help alleviate some of that drought stress. However, if it comes too heavy too fast, urban flooding could become an issue, especially in low-lying coastal areas. Now, let me give you more coverage of the Mountain West and Southwest because these areas have their own weather stories playing out. Albuquerque, New Mexico, 42 degrees and sunny. Santa Fe, 39 degrees and sunny. Las Cruces, 49 degrees and sunny. El Paso, 56 degrees with passing clouds. Roswell, 48 degrees and sunny. The desert Southwest is calm today with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures are cool for early April but warming nicely through the afternoon. Flagstaff, Arizona, 32 degrees and clear. Sedona, 52 degrees and sunny. Scottsdale, 63 degrees and clear. Tucson, 57 degrees and clear. Yuma, 63 degrees and sunny. Arizona is looking fantastic today. Classic spring desert weather. Salt Lake City, 52 degrees and partly cloudy. Provo, 50 degrees with passing clouds. Ogden, 49 degrees with thunder showers this morning. That is interesting because Ogden is seeing some convection this morning while most of Utah is dry. St. George, 53 degrees and clear. Moab, 42 degrees and clear. Denver, 35 degrees with passing clouds. Colorado Springs, 44 degrees with passing clouds. Fort Collins, 37 degrees with fog. Boulder, 37 degrees with passing clouds. Grand Junction, 44 degrees with passing clouds. Pueblo, 35 degrees and sunny. Aspen, 36 degrees and mostly cloudy. Breckenridge, 21 degrees with light snow. Yes, 21 degrees and snowing in Breckenridge. It is still winter up in the high country of Colorado. Boise, Idaho, 39 degrees and clear. Idaho Falls, 39 degrees and mostly cloudy. Pocatello, 36 degrees and mostly cloudy, Montana. Billings, 35 degrees and mostly cloudy. Missoula, 41 degrees with light rain. Great Falls, 40 degrees and overcast. Helena, 39 degrees with passing clouds. Bozeman, 38 degrees with light rain. Kalispell, 39 degrees and cloudy. Wyoming. Casper, 42 degrees and sunny. Cheyenne, 39 degrees and sunny. Jackson, 32 degrees with light snow. Rock Springs, 35 degrees and mostly cloudy. The Pacific Northwest in more detail. Seattle, 43 degrees and overcast. Tacoma, 42 degrees with low clouds. Olympia, 40 degrees with light rain. Bellingham, 43 degrees with light rain. Spokane, 39 degrees with low clouds. Bend, Oregon, 31 degrees with light snow and ice fog. Eugene, 40 degrees and partly cloudy. Salem, 40 degrees and partly cloudy. Medford, 39 degrees and mostly cloudy. Astoria, 42 degrees and partly sunny. California in more detail. Los Angeles, 61 degrees and overcast. San Francisco, 49 degrees with passing clouds. San Diego, 62 degrees and partly cloudy. Sacramento, 43 degrees and clear. San Jose, 50 degrees and partly sunny. Fresno, 55 degrees with scattered clouds. Bakersfield, 57 degrees and overcast. Palm Springs, 61 degrees and clear. Santa Barbara, 57 degrees with passing clouds. Long Beach, 60 degrees and overcast. Anaheim, 59 degrees and mostly cloudy. Irvine, 61 degrees with passing clouds. Santa Monica, 57 degrees and clear. Riverside, 55 degrees with passing clouds. San Bernardino, 55 degrees with passing clouds. Redding, 46 degrees and clear. Monterey, 54 degrees and overcast. Santa Cruz, 53 degrees and mostly cloudy. Chico, 45 degrees and sunny. California, you are staying out of this severe weather pattern entirely. Enjoy the cool, quiet spring weather. But keep in mind that fire season is always just around the corner in the Golden State, and the dry conditions across parts of Southern California remain a concern heading into summer. Now, here is something fascinating about this weather pattern that I want to share with you, and do not miss this part because it connects everything together. The same jet stream pattern that is driving this severe weather outbreak across the Midwest is also responsible for the active tropical pattern in the Caribbean. Think of the jet stream as a river of air flowing from west to east across the United States. When that river dips southward, it creates the conditions for severe weather. But when it dips, it also changes the wind patterns all the way down into the tropics. Right now, the wind patterns in the Caribbean are favorable for enhanced rainfall. That is why we are seeing heavy rain across Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, and Central America. And as we head into May and June, those same wind patterns evolve into the conditions that spawn hurricanes. This is not a coincidence. Active spring severe weather seasons in the United States often correlate with active hurricane seasons. The same large-scale atmospheric patterns that produce tornado outbreaks also set the stage for tropical cyclone development later in the year. It is all connected, and understanding that connection helps you prepare not just for this week, but for the entire season ahead. Here's another important detail that could save your life. If you are in the path of this severe weather and you hear a tornado siren, do not go outside to look. I know it is tempting, I know curiosity is strong, but every single year people are injured or killed because they went outside to look at the storm instead of taking shelter. Get to your safe room immediately, an interior room on the lowest floor, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you have a helmet, motorcycle helmet, bicycle helmet, anything, put it on. Head injuries are the #1 cause of tornado fatalities. If you are in a mobile home or manufactured housing, do not stay there during a tornado warning. Mobile homes offer almost zero protection against a tornado, even a weak one. Have a plan to get to a sturdy building or a community storm shelter. Know where it is before the sirens go off. For those of you with pets, have a plan for them too. Get your pet carriers ready now. Do not wait until the last minute to try to wrangle a scared cat or dog during a tornado warning. Prepare now. Now, let me come back to something critical, because if you have stayed with me this far, you deserve the full picture. The flooding threat. This is something that could actually end up being more impactful than the tornadoes and severe winds for many areas. And I really need you to pay attention to this section, because flooding kills more people in the United States every year than tornadoes, hurricanes, or lightning combined. More people. Let that sink in for a second. Here is why this particular flooding setup is so dangerous. Parts of Texas have been incredibly dry. Some areas in East Texas and South Texas have not seen significant rainfall in weeks. When the ground is that dry and baked hard by the sun, it actually becomes almost like concrete. The water cannot soak in. It just runs off. And when you dump 4 to 6 inches of rain on ground like that in a short period, you get flash flooding. Fast, violent, life-threatening flash flooding. Houston, I am looking at you specifically. The Bayou system in Houston was designed to handle significant rainfall, and it does a remarkable job most of the time. But 4 to 5 inches of rain in just a few hours can overwhelm even the best drainage systems in the world. And Houston knows this from experience. If you live in a flood-prone area of Houston and you know who you are, make sure you know your evacuation route. Have a bag packed. Keep your gas tank full. Do not wait until water is in your driveway to decide to leave. And here is the #1 rule that I cannot stress enough. Do not drive through flooded roads. Turn around. Do not drown. That is not just a catchy phrase. It is the single most important piece of advice I can give you during a flood event. It only takes 6 inches of fast-moving water to knock a person off their feet. 12 inches can carry away a small car. 24 inches will sweep away most vehicles, including trucks and SUVs. Every single year, people die because they tried to drive through what looked like a shallow puddle on the road. Do not be one of those statistics. The flooding threat also extends well beyond Houston. East Texas cities like Tyler, Longview, Nacogdoches, and Lufkin are all in the crosshairs for heavy rain over the next 72 hours. Arkansas is going to see significant rainfall too, especially the western and central parts of the state. Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Pine Bluff could all see 3 to 4 inches of rain. Oklahoma, particularly eastern Oklahoma around Tulsa, Muskogee, and McAllister, is also looking at significant rainfall totals. River levels across the region will be rising through the weekend and into early next week. If you live near a river, creek, or any low-water crossing, monitor water levels closely. The National Weather Service river forecasts are updated regularly and can tell you exactly what the river near you is expected to do. Louisiana is another area I am watching very closely. Shreveport, Monroe, Alexandria, and Baton Rouge could all see heavy rain Saturday into Sunday. The low-lying terrain of Louisiana makes it especially vulnerable to flooding, and the saturated ground from recent rains only makes the problem worse. And here is something that surprises a lot of people. More flood deaths happen at night than during the day. When it is dark outside, you cannot see how deep the water is on the road. You cannot see that the bridge is washed out. You cannot see the current. If heavy rain is falling at night and you do not absolutely have to be on the road, stay home. It is that simple. Now let me expand on the Caribbean and tropical outlook because this is going to become increasingly important as we move through April and into May. The Caribbean is extremely active right now. A batch of rain near the Bay Islands of Honduras is lifting toward Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, and the Bahamas. This is not a tropical system. It is just a broad area of disturbed weather, but it is dumping heavy rain across the region. The Cayman Islands have a rain chance up to 80% tonight into tomorrow. The Cayman Islands are still recovering from damage, and the last thing they need is more heavy rain. But unfortunately, that is exactly what they are going to get. Jamaica has a 60% chance of rain today, rising to 70% tomorrow. Downpours could be heavy enough to cause flooding, and this is especially concerning given the roof damage still present from Hurricane Melissa earlier in the season. When you have compromised roofs and heavy rain, the interior damage to homes can be devastating. Puerto Rico and the United States and British Virgin Islands have a 40 to 50% rain chance over the next couple of days, with conditions becoming even more active by the weekend. The Virgin Islands have been seeing elevated seas on their Atlantic-facing shores, with choppier conditions expected through the weekend. If you are boating or planning any water activities in the Virgin Islands, exercise extreme caution. Haiti and the Dominican Republic are looking at a 60 to 70% chance of rain. I need to emphasize the flood risk for Haiti and the DR specifically. The mountainous terrain in both countries means that when heavy rain falls, it funnels into valleys and river crossings extremely quickly. Flash flooding can happen with little to no warning. River crossings in both countries will be rising dangerously. If you have family or friends in Haiti or the Dominican Republic, please reach out and let them know to be extremely cautious near rivers and streams. Do not attempt to cross flooded rivers on foot or in vehicles. The Turks and Caicos Islands are looking at increasing rain chances through the weekend, and the central and southern Bahamas are going to see the heaviest rain in the Caribbean over the next few days. Some areas could pick up 75 millimeters, which is about 3 inches, in a very short period. Grand Bahama, Andros, and the Exuma chain should be preparing for potential flooding. Cuba has scattered rain chances around 50% over the next few days. The rain will be most widespread across western and central Cuba. Further south, Trinidad and Tobago currently has a 30 to 40% rain chance, but by Sunday into Monday, that jumps significantly as rain from the Guyana and Suriname region lifts northward. Some areas near Guyana and Suriname could see up to 100 millimeters of rain, which is about 4 inches. That is enough to cause significant flooding in low-lying areas. The smaller Caribbean islands are seeing varying conditions. Barbados, St. Lucia, Guadeloupe, Antigua, Barbuda, and Anguilla all have scattered passing showers with that persistent easterly flow. Rain chances range from 20 to 40% across the eastern Caribbean. Dominica through Guadeloupe is holding at about 30% through the weekend. Aruba, Curaçao, and Bonaire have seasonal rain chances of 20 to 30%. Costa Rica and western Panama are looking at flooding potential with a 40 to 50% rain chance. Honduras is still monitoring flooding from recent rains, and Guatemala and El Salvador continue to see scattered areas of rain with a 30 to 40% chance. Nicaragua has about a 40 to 50% chance of rain over the coming days. Mexico City is looking at building rain chances as we get into the weekend, and scattered showers are possible across the Yucatan Peninsula, including Mérida, Cancun, and Campeche, with 40 to 50% chances. Northern Colombia and northern Venezuela both have about a 40 to 50% chance of rain over the next few days. Bermuda is sitting in between all of these weather systems and will remain generally dry over the next few days. If you are in Bermuda, you are in good shape for now. Now here is what makes all of this Caribbean rainfall even more significant. The 30-day outlook shows this active pattern continuing. Above average rainfall is expected from Mexico through Guatemala, Honduras, all the way through Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and parts of South Florida. That is a massive area of above-average rain. But here is the flip side that concerns me. Parts of the southern and eastern Caribbean, particularly from Dominica south through Trinidad and Tobago, are projected to see below-average rainfall over the next 30 days. That seems counterintuitive when we are talking about an active pattern, but the rain is going to be concentrated in the northern Caribbean, while the southern Caribbean stays relatively dry. Below-average rain anywhere from Dominica south through Trinidad and Tobago through the month does not mean no rain at all. It just means totals will be lower than what is typical for this time of year, and that leads to wildfire concerns. When you have below-average rainfall and warm tropical temperatures, dry brush and vegetation become fire hazards. This is something to watch across the southern Caribbean and also across parts of Louisiana, North Florida, and the southeastern United States, where the 30-day outlook also shows below-average rainfall. Now, I promised you at the beginning of this video that I would deliver the full severe weather breakdown by the 5-minute mark, and I have done that. But I also want to give you something extra because you stuck with me this far. Here is what I am watching for the rest of April and into May that could be a game changer. The 46-day outlook shows an active, wetter-than-normal pattern continuing through mid-May across the Caribbean, Central America, and parts of the Gulf Coast. This elevated moisture and activity is the precursor to hurricane season. When the atmosphere is this juiced up heading into May and June, it often means an early start to tropical activity. About every other year, we see some sort of tropical development in May before the official season even starts. Usually, it is nothing major, but occasionally one of these early season systems gets close enough to populated areas to cause flooding. The first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season this year will be Arthur. After that, Bertha, Crystal, Dolly, and Edward. On the East Pacific side, the first name is Amanda. If you hear about a storm named Amanda, that is the East Pacific, not the Atlantic. The East Pacific season starts even sooner, May 15th, because water temperatures are already warmer in that basin. The heart of hurricane season runs from July through October, and if you live anywhere along the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, or in the Caribbean, you need to start thinking about your hurricane plan now, not in August when a storm is bearing down on you. I will be tracking all of this in the coming weeks. Every development, every forecast model run, every shift in the pattern. If something threatens your area, you will hear about it here first. Now, here is what I want you to do right now. If you have not already, drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from. I read every single comment, and I use your locations to prioritize which areas I cover in the most detail in my next video. Your comment helps me help you. Whether you are watching from Houston, Chicago, Miami, Phoenix, or anywhere in between, let me know. I want to make sure every single one of you has the information you need to stay safe. Also, if you have elderly neighbors or family members who might not have access to this information, share this video with them. A simple text message with a link to this video could make the difference between someone being prepared and someone being caught off guard. Severe weather does not discriminate, and the people most vulnerable are often the ones with the least access to information. Let me give you the comprehensive action checklist for the next 4 days, because this is what you need to print out, screenshot, or save. If you live in the Midwest, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, today, Thursday, is your day. Severe weather peaks between 3 in the afternoon and midnight Central Time. Have your safe room plan ready now. Charge your phone and any backup batteries. Make sure weather alerts are turned on. Bring in any loose outdoor items right now. Trampolines, Patio furniture, potted plants, anything that can become a projectile in 80-mile-per-hour winds needs to come inside or be secured. If you have pets that spend time outdoors, bring them inside well before the storms arrive. Identify the safest room in your home. Interior room, lowest floor, away from windows. If you live in the Great Plains, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, northern Texas, tomorrow, Friday, is your big day. Severe weather develops by early afternoon and continues into the late evening. Large hail up to baseball size, damaging winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour, and tornadoes are all possible. Park your car in a garage or under covered parking if you can. Hail damage to vehicles can cost thousands of dollars. Move your vehicles to shelter before Friday afternoon. If you live in the Southern Plains and the South, Dallas-Fort Worth, East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Saturday is your concern day. A line of storms with damaging winds pushes through starting Saturday morning in Texas and reaching the Tennessee Valley by Saturday evening. The flooding threat is the big concern for this region. Do not plan any outdoor activities for Saturday. Have your emergency supplies ready, keep your phone charged, and weather alerts on. If you live along the East Coast, Sunday brings a low-end severe weather risk. My confidence is low for anything organized, but it is worth keeping an eye on. Stay weather aware and check for updates Sunday morning. And if you live in the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Michigan, the ice and snow threat is very real. Travel is going to be extremely dangerous tonight and Friday. Some areas could see more than 6 inches of snow and up to half an inch of freezing rain. That is enough to bring down tree limbs and power lines. If you do not have to travel, do not. Stay home. Have backup heat sources ready in case the power goes out. Keep your phone charged. Have warm blankets, flashlights, batteries, a battery-powered weather radio, bottled water, and non-perishable food ready to go. Now let me also cover some additional cities I have not mentioned yet because I want to make sure I am as thorough as possible. Topeka, Kansas, 63 degrees with light rain and mostly cloudy skies. Topeka is going to be right in the path of Friday's severe weather. Large hail and damaging winds are the primary threats. Manhattan, Kansas, 66 degrees and cloudy. Same story as Topeka. Friday afternoon is when things get dangerous. Wichita Falls, Texas, 63 degrees and sunny right now. Wichita Falls needs to watch Friday afternoon for severe weather, especially large hail. Emporia, Kansas, 64 degrees and partly sunny, right in the danger zone for Friday. Amarillo, Texas, 50 degrees and sunny. Amarillo is on the western edge of Friday's threat area. The risk is lower here, but isolated severe storms are possible. Lubbock, 55 degrees with passing clouds. Similar to Amarillo, Lubbock has a lower but non-zero risk for Friday. Midland, 62 degrees. Odessa, 56 degrees and sunny. These West Texas cities are on the outer fringes of the severe weather risk. Springfield, Missouri, 68 degrees with light rain already falling. Springfield will see storms today and again Friday night. Joplin, Missouri, 66 degrees with broken clouds. Joplin is in the path for both today and Friday. Branson, 70 degrees. Beautiful today, but severe storms arrive Friday night. Terre Haute, Indiana, 61 degrees and sunny. Terre Haute is on the eastern edge of today's severe weather risk. Storms arrive late afternoon into evening. Lafayette, Indiana, 52 degrees and foggy. A marginal severe weather risk exists this evening. Fort Wayne, 40 degrees and foggy. Lower risk, but still worth monitoring tonight. Rockford, Illinois, 39 degrees with low clouds. Rockford is in the path of tonight's severe weather. Damaging winds and an isolated tornado are possible between 6 and 10 tonight. Champaign-Urbana, 56 degrees with fog, similar timing. Storms arrive late afternoon and continue through the evening. Sioux City, Iowa, 38 degrees with heavy rain, already getting pounded by rain this morning. The severe threat increases dramatically tomorrow, Friday. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 41 degrees with rain and fog. Severe storms possible today and especially tomorrow. Fayetteville, Arkansas, 68 degrees and overcast. Friday night into Saturday brings the severe threat here. Fort Smith, 69 degrees with light rain already. Heavy rain and flooding are concerns through the weekend. Texarkana, Texas, 71 degrees with thunderstorms already firing this morning. This area is going to see repeated rounds of storms over the next 3 days. Flooding is a very real concern. Tyler, 67 degrees with light rain and partly sunny skies. Longview, 67 degrees with thunderstorms. Both cities need to prepare for flooding. Tupelo, Mississippi, 67 degrees with scattered clouds. Saturday is the concern day as the squall line moves through. Hattiesburg, 69 degrees and mostly cloudy. Jackson, Mississippi, 68 degrees and partly sunny, both watching Saturday. Huntsville, Alabama, 66 degrees with scattered clouds. Saturday evening is the severe weather window for the Tennessee Valley. Decatur, Alabama, 64 degrees with passing clouds. Same timeline. Paducah, Kentucky, 70 degrees with broken clouds. Paducah sits at the confluence of several rivers and is always vulnerable to flooding. Monitor river levels closely this weekend. Clarksville, Tennessee, 71 degrees and partly sunny. Saturday is the day to watch. Let me also hit a few more cities that viewers always ask about. Anchorage, Alaska, 17 degrees and clear, cold but calm. No weather concerns. Honolulu, Hawaii, 71 degrees with passing clouds. Beautiful tropical weather, no issues. Hilo, 66 degrees and mostly cloudy with typical trade wind showers. Now let me talk about what happens after this weekend because the pattern does not end here. After Sunday's relative calm, things quiet down early next week. Enjoy it while it lasts. But by Wednesday or Thursday of next week, the jet stream reloads and another round of severe weather is likely across the central United States. This is the nature of spring weather patterns. They come in waves, storm system after storm system riding along the jet stream, each one bringing the potential for tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, and flooding rain. We are only in the first week of April, and we are already seeing a very active severe weather season. If this pattern continues, and the long-range models suggest it will, we could be looking at one of the more active Aprils in recent memory for severe weather across the central and southern United States. This is not the time to become complacent. Every storm system needs to be taken seriously. Every tornado watch needs your attention. Every tornado warning demands immediate action. The people who survive severe weather are the people who are prepared before it arrives. And speaking of preparation, let me leave you with one more thought. Talk to your family tonight about your severe weather plan. Make sure everyone in your household knows where to go if a tornado warning is issued. Practice getting to your safe room. Time how long it takes. Make it a drill. If you have children, make it a game. The more you practice, the more automatic it becomes when the real thing happens. And when the sirens go off and the adrenaline is pumping, you want your body to move on autopilot to safety. For those with pets, get your carriers ready now. Know where your important documents are. Have a go bag near your safe room with water, a flashlight, shoes, and your phone charger. These small steps take 5 minutes today and could save your life tonight. Now let me wrap up with the final key takeaways for the next 4 days. Thursday, today, the Midwest is ground zero. Tornado outbreak potential across Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour. Peak timing 3 in the afternoon to midnight. Ice storm conditions in the upper Midwest with up to ½ an inch of freezing rain and over 6 inches of snow possible. This is a dangerous combination of winter weather and severe thunderstorms happening in the same region on the same day. Friday, the Great Plains takes center stage. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. Large hail up to baseball size. Damaging winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour. Tornadoes possible, especially across Iowa and northern Missouri. Peak timing 1 in the afternoon to 11 at night. This could be the most significant day of severe weather in the entire 4-day stretch. Saturday, the South gets hit. Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. Damaging winds from a squall line. Isolated tornadoes possible. Peak timing 8 in the morning in Texas, reaching the Tennessee Valley by Saturday evening. Flooding becomes the dominant concern across East Texas, South Texas, and Louisiana. Sunday. Things calm down across the interior of the country. Low-end severe risk along the East Coast. The Great Plains get a well-deserved break. But the Caribbean remains very active with heavy rain and flooding across Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. The flooding threat persists throughout all 4 days, especially in East Texas, South Texas, Houston, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and the central and southern Bahamas. Turn around, do not drown. 6 inches of moving water can knock you off your feet. 12 inches can carry away a car. Next week brings a brief lull early in the week before more severe weather returns by midweek, and the 46-day outlook shows this active pattern continuing right through the middle of May, leading directly into hurricane season. Now, next video, I am going to dive deep into the hurricane season outlook for 2026. The early models are already suggesting this could be another above-average season. And I want to break down exactly what that means for you, no matter where you live along the Gulf Coast, the East Coast, or in the Caribbean. I am going to show you the water temperature analysis, the wind shear forecasts, and the historical parallels that tell us what kind of season we are in for. That video is going to be one you absolutely do not want to miss. Until then, stay safe, stay prepared. And remember, the best time to prepare for severe weather is before it arrives, not when the sirens are already going off. Now, before I close out, I want to give you a few more cities and regions that I have been getting questions about, and I want to make sure nobody gets left out of this forecast. Let me cover the I-95 corridor in more detail because millions of people live along this stretch, starting from the south. Daytona Beach, 72 degrees and sunny, a beautiful day along the Space Coast. Cape Canaveral, 74 degrees with scattered clouds. If you are visiting Kennedy Space Center today, perfect weather for it. Vero Beach, 73 degrees with light rain and partly sunny skies. Stewart, 73 degrees and partly sunny. West Palm Beach, 74 degrees with broken clouds. Boca Raton, 75 degrees with scattered clouds. Fort Lauderdale, 76 degrees and partly sunny. Hollywood, Florida, 76 degrees and partly sunny. Hialeah, 78 degrees and partly sunny. Pembroke Pines, 77 degrees with passing clouds. All of South Florida is in great shape today with warm temperatures and just a few passing clouds. Moving up the coast. Port St. Lucie, 73 degrees and partly sunny. Melbourne, 76 degrees and partly sunny. Titusville, 75 degrees and sunny. St. Augustine, 70 degrees and sunny. These northeast Florida cities are enjoying classic spring weather. Into Georgia and the Carolinas along the coast. Savannah, 70 degrees and sunny. Hilton Head is looking similar. Charleston, 69 degrees with scattered clouds. Myrtle Beach, 68 degrees and sunny. If you are on the Grand Strand today, it is a gorgeous day for the beach. Wilmington, North Carolina, 70 degrees. Outer Banks, Kitty Hawk is at 70 degrees and sunny. Virginia Beach, 69 degrees. All of these coastal cities are in for a beautiful day with no weather concerns. Further north along I-95, Norfolk, 69 degrees. Hampton, 70 degrees. Newport News, 68 degrees. Richmond, 66 degrees. Fredericksburg, 67 degrees. The greater D.C. metro area, Washington at 58 degrees with drizzle. Baltimore, 51 degrees with fog. Wilmington, Delaware, 48 degrees with fog. Philadelphia, 47 degrees with low clouds. The transition zone is right here. South of D.C., it is mild and pleasant. North of D.C., it is cool, damp, and dreary. Trenton, 44 degrees and overcast. Newark, 45 degrees with drizzle. New York, 43 degrees and overcast. Bridgeport, 43 degrees with light rain. New Haven, 41 degrees with light rain. Hartford, 41 degrees with rain. Providence, 38 degrees with light rain. Boston, 38 degrees with light rain and fog. It is a raw, chilly day across the entire Northeast. Not severe, but certainly not enjoyable. Temperatures are running 10 to 15 degrees below where they should be for early April in many spots. Portland, Maine, 35 degrees and overcast. Bangor, 32 degrees and partly sunny. These northern New England cities are barely above freezing and spring feels very far away. Now let me also cover the I-10 corridor across the southern United States because this is where a lot of the severe weather and flooding action will be focused this weekend. Starting in the west, Los Angeles, 61 degrees and overcast, no weather concerns. Palm Springs, 61 degrees and clear. Tucson, 57 degrees and clear. Phoenix, 66 degrees with passing clouds, all calm in the desert. Moving into New Mexico, Las Cruces at 49 degrees and sunny. El Paso, 56 degrees. Now entering Texas where things start to change. Van Horn, 62 degrees. Fort Stockton area is dry and sunny. San Antonio, 70 degrees with light rain already moving in. Houston, 75 degrees with broken clouds. Beaumont, 74 degrees and mostly cloudy. This is where the weather starts to get active, crossing into Louisiana. Lake Charles, 75 degrees. Lafayette, 72 degrees with broken clouds. Baton Rouge, 73 degrees and cloudy. New Orleans, 72 degrees and sunny for now, but that changes Saturday. Slidell area, similar conditions. Into Mississippi, Hattiesburg, 69 degrees and mostly cloudy. Biloxi, 73 degrees. Gulfport, 73 degrees. Ocean Springs and Pascagoula, 69 degrees and partly sunny. Jackson, 68 degrees and partly sunny. Into Alabama. Mobile, 70 degrees with passing clouds. Pensacola, 70 degrees and sunny. Tallahassee, 66 degrees and sunny. Jacksonville, 69 degrees and partly sunny. The entire I-10 corridor from Houston to Jacksonville is going to see weather deteriorate Saturday. A squall line will sweep through, bringing damaging winds and heavy rain. Travel along I-10 Saturday should be done with extreme caution. Pull off the road if visibility drops or if you are in a severe thunderstorm warning. And finally, let me cover the I-40 corridor through the heart of the severe weather zone. Starting in the west, Barstow, California, no weather concerns. Flagstaff, Arizona, 32 degrees and clear. Albuquerque, 42 degrees and sunny. Amarillo, 50 degrees and sunny. This is where the weather starts to change as we move east. Oklahoma City, 65 degrees with scattered clouds. Friday is the big day for OKC. Severe weather with large hail and damaging winds. Fort Smith, Arkansas, 69 degrees with light rain already. Little Rock, 69 degrees with broken clouds. Memphis, 71 degrees and mostly cloudy. Nashville, 67 degrees and partly sunny. Knoxville, 67 degrees with passing clouds. From Oklahoma City eastward through Memphis and Nashville, I-40 is going to be a dangerous highway to travel on Friday and Saturday. Severe thunderstorms will cross the interstate repeatedly. If you have travel plans along I-40 this weekend, consider adjusting your schedule. Leave earlier or later to avoid the peak storm timing. Check weather conditions frequently and do not drive into storms. One more thing I want to mention, and I think this is really important. A lot of people in tornado-prone areas have become desensitized to tornado warnings. They hear the sirens and they think, well, it is probably nothing, or it is just a watch, not a warning. Please do not make that mistake. Every tornado warning is issued because radar has detected rotation in a thunderstorm or a tornado has actually been spotted. These are not false alarms. They are life-saving alerts. When you hear the sirens or get the alert on your phone, take action immediately. Do not wait to see the tornado. By the time you see it, it may already be too late. The average tornado gives you about 13 minutes of warning time from when the warning is issued to when the tornado arrives. 13 minutes. That is barely enough time to get to your safe room, let alone evacuate. Use those 13 minutes wisely. Get to safety first. You can assess the damage after the storm passes. If this video helped you understand what is coming, share it with someone who needs to see it. Leave a comment telling me your city so I can make sure you are covered in the next forecast. And keep watching, because the next 72 hours are going to be unlike anything we have seen so far this spring. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next update. And one final note before I go. I want to talk directly to those of you who have never experienced a tornado in person. If you moved to the Midwest or the South from an area that does not get tornadoes, this section is especially for you. A tornado does not always look like what you see in the movies. Sometimes it is a clearly defined funnel descending from the sky. Other times it is wrapped in rain and completely invisible until it is right on top of you. Some tornadoes are large, mile-wide wedges that you can see from miles away. Others are thin, rope-like funnels that are hard to spot, especially at night. At night is when tornadoes are most deadly. You cannot see them coming. You are likely asleep. And by the time you hear it, you have seconds, not minutes to react. That is why having a weather alert system on your phone is absolutely critical. Set it up so that it will wake you up in the middle of the night if a tornado warning is issued for your area. That 5 seconds of extra warning could be the difference between life and death. Also, do not rely solely on tornado sirens. Outdoor warning sirens are designed to alert people who are outside. If you are inside your house with the television on and the windows closed, you may not hear the siren at all. Your phone is your best tool for receiving tornado warnings indoors. And for those of you who have basements, use them. A basement is the safest place to be during a tornado. Get under a sturdy piece of furniture like a workbench or a heavy table and cover your head with pillows or a mattress. If you do not have a basement, go to the lowest floor, interior room away from windows. A bathroom is often a good choice because the plumbing in the walls provides additional structural support. If you are caught in a car during a tornado and there is no shelter nearby, do not try to outrun it. Get out of the car, find the lowest ditch or depression you can, lie face down, and cover your head with your hands. It is not ideal, but it is better than staying in a vehicle which can be picked up and thrown by a tornado. I share all of this because I genuinely care about your safety. This is not about fear, this is about preparation. The more you know about severe weather and how to protect yourself, the better your odds of coming through it unharmed. And that is what this channel is all about. Giving you the information you need when you need it so you can make smart decisions for yourself and your family. So one more time, comment below with your city, share this video with someone you care about, and I will see you in the very next update where we are going to break down the 2020